Someone said books, and that's great.
I love that. Yay!
Hello, and welcome to The Book Drop, Omaha Public Library's podcast about books, our community, and the joy of reading. I'm Maggie Peterson. I'm the outreach manager for Omaha Public Library, and I'm joined as always by
Amy Bathard, the partnerships manager for Omaha Public Library.
We should just take a nibble because I bet it tastes like, I don't know what we thought it was going to taste like. It was like eating a leaf, and it was not good.
Yeah.
And I would not recommend it to anyone. Don't just eat a straight up mint leaf.
Yeah, mint is interesting. We should talk about
I'm
mint.
into mint.
I like mint too, but I feel
I'm
like
scared to grow it because I hear that it
takes
does what it
over.
wants. And yeah.
Just do it in a container.
Yeah.
Will it contain if it stays in the
If,
Yes.
if it's an actual pot, for
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's one of the more fun plants to grow like around kids
Yeah.
Mm.
because the actual we think of spearmint or peppermint or mojito
Uh-huh.
mint.
Mhm.
You there are different plants that have those different smells.
Yeah.
And so if you ask a kid
Oh.
to run their fingers through a leaf and then smell it, like what do you smell? I smell mint. And then you do it again, like, well, still mint.
Uh-huh.
Is it the same mint? No.
Right.
And
Yeah.
You can kind of
Ah,
directly connect the idea of flavor to specific
a
plants.
sensory experience.
Yeah.
That's
I
cool.
actually did that as a kid.
Really?
I'm not
Yes,
surprised by
very
that.
much. And I was in awe of like that being a thing.
100%.
And, yeah.
Oh, it's such a cool
Mhm.
thing. So what kind of mint people are you?
What kind?
I'm a
What
spearmint.
kind did
I'm
I,
a spearmint person.
what kind did I eat? Whatever that was, it made a great mojito.
Probably
but-
mojito mint. I mean, there's an
mojito.
actual,
It is like an actual
Is it
mojito.
really?
But I think spearmint's more is
Huh.
common too.
Yeah, I think spearmint I probably lean towards is like what we use. But I love all the mint.
Okay.
And here I am learning for
Inclusive
the first time that there are different kinds of, which I mean, I guess makes sense because of all the. So I should also, before I even keep going any further, I need you to know upfront, I once killed an air plant.
There you go.
Oh, I
and my
killed them
most
too.
successful season of gardening was when I took the rotten jack-o'-lantern off of our porch on November 1st and tossed it into the backyard, and then surprise grew a pumpkin
There you go.
the following year. So what I'm about to say was that it's like, I didn't even realize there were varieties of mint. Well, I guess that makes sense to me because there's so many varieties of gum, and that's just where my mind goes.
Not growing air plant wouldn't be too hard on yourself. You probably don't live in a cloud forest, which is where they're intended to live. So,
Okay, that does
Yeah.
make
Some
me feel
grace.
better. I was told that they were like impossible to kill, and I was
No,
like,
they are very
watch me.
possible.
yeah, very
bet.
possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
That
think
makes
it's a
me
whole
feel better.
marketing thing.
Yeah.
It's pretend.
I think that's probably true.
Somebody should have honestly just given me a fake plant and just been like, here you go, and look what a good job you're doing. You're like, oh.
Mint, on the other hand, is very hard to kill.
It's
Okay,
very hard
because
to kill.
it moves and it is hard to kill, much
Mhm.
like me. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, should we introduce our guest today,
I think
or
we should
have
really
our
deep into it.
guest
Love it.
introduce?
We do like to have our guests introduce themselves,
Yes.
and it's a very calming way that we do it. It'll be like, guest, who are you?
Exactly.
Tell us who you are.
And by the way, so excited about this guest. So
Long time in the
excited.
making. We're very excited.
I know.
We had like early dreams about this. I mean, forever ago, like way beyond, like when we were still building the building, like we talked about.
We
being
were
able to,
still
yeah.
podcasting in a closet.
When they still had us in the Harry Potter broom closet
Yeah.
next to our boss's office, and we would sometimes yell things at her.
Yeah.
But we're not there now.
Good to be
Yeah.
here.
Hi, guys.
This is not a closet. Yeah. Yeah. Well, my name's Mick Mulhall. I'm a gardener. I work for our family business here in town. It's called Mulhall's.
Yay.
We do plants and plant things. I've been doing that my whole life. With a few, I went away to college. I did a few other things, but this is like what I do, what I've always done, what I really like doing. Feel super fortunate that we got to be involved in the garden around the library here. That was really cool. For us in this world, it's you get into something and you really like it, and you only have so many opportunities to share it with other people. Particularly something that has been as historically niche as being into plants. And so to see plants prioritized the way they have been, and our native plant community being prioritized the way it was at a public space like this, in a place like this, and the center of the city, was really exciting for us. From the time we heard the project announced, found out we got to be a part of it, was even more exciting. Found out we got to grow some of the plants for it, even more so. So yeah, super excited to be here, both at the Central Library and in this podcast, not closet.
We're delighted.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. It has been a pleasure actually working with you since this project has started. And I also think like plants and gardening, everything is, I think it just keeps having a moment and it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I don't know if that shows in what you see at Mulhall's.
Yeah, like the trend. Yeah. People's like buying trends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think so. I think it's been interesting, right? Like I've always been kind of into this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And in our family, like we didn't grow up thinking of the business as something we'd be a part of, but you grow up around the people that make up the business, and those people really care about plants and plant things. I was always like a wilder kid, and we all had to work at the nursery, we call it, in the summers.
Right.
And so you meet these people and you kind of like, you see what they're into. And, it's, I forget what we were talking about.
Oh.
So I've been up for a very long time.
Okay.
Have you?
I like to do that.
I guess you do because you have to get up super early to do all the plant things. I don't know. Do you?
Are they like cows where you got to get up early and do things to them?
Yeah, you got to water them, and you got to water them before people try to take them from
all
you
right.
at a
I'm
store.
learning a lot today.
Well, tell us a little bit about, I know folks can find it on your website, but like, what is your family's history around this? Because I'd be curious. And I love that you are interested in it because not all kids are interested in the family business.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say like interested in so to rewind, a guy named John Mulhall started a business with his wife, Maureen. John Mulhall was born in 1922 in County Wicklow, Ireland. So County Wicklow, it's a county just south of Dublin. It's called the Garden of Ireland, right? It's just off the Gulf Stream. And so it's really green. Grew up on a small family farm, 7 kids, so about 40-acre farm in the townland of Greenhall. The town, the farm itself is called Tomnafinogue. And he started to work as a kid at a nearby nursery. It's called the None So Hardy Nursery, and he really fell in love with the work. Being the oldest of 7 to an Irish farming family, right? He stood to inherit the farm, and that's a big deal there. Irish haven't owned land for very long,
right?
And so, but really fell in love with the work. Decided to go to technical school for horticulture in Dublin, and after that, ended up taking a job at the American Ambassador's residence in Ireland. To Ireland from the U.S. And that the ambassador was actually from Omaha.
Oh,
and so
really?
the gardener, so their like national mall in Dublin is called Phoenix Park, and the American Ambassador's residence is in Phoenix Park. So it's like this big house, and the gardener has his own house on the property, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And so John was the head gardener. He had that house. Maureen was the head cook. They met. He tells the story. He fell in love. She tells the story. He had a house.
It's tale as old as time.
100%. So anyway, they got married, and the ambassador encouraged them to immigrate to the United States.
Right.
And they were like, okay, more specifically Omaha. They didn't really know what that meant. So they arrived here in the early 50s. And, for John, it continued, like his passion was this, plants and plant things. And chose to keep doing that here. Worked first for the Omaha Parks, worked at Hanscom Park Greenhouse. Pretty quickly thereafter, went to work for Creighton University. He was their first full-time groundskeeper. Like a hilarious article about that behind my desk. They it was like an interview like this, except they talk about like what's your favorite kind of cigarette and tea because it's in the 50s.
Of course, yeah.
So anyway, he was working at Creighton, started to moonlight, mowing lawns and stuff in the neighborhood, and nights and weekends out of his garage at 51st and Burt. It's like selling flowers to the neighbors.
I love that.
Yep. That started to work. They bought a slightly larger house on 69th and Blondo. So if you know like St. Pius, right across the street to the north.
Yeah.
You can see pictures like, they get all the kids and the nuns in the parking lot for the school picture. And you can like see like the trucks and the trees in their backyard.
Oh my gosh.
So that was, in the 60s. And then, met a few people as it goes, right? Like met a few people through St. Pius that were running businesses in Omaha. And he was kind of like the token storyteller. He like played accordion. He was a very entertaining guy. He was like the culture ad to the parish finance committee. But through that committee was able to borrow some money and bought the land that our store's now on in the early 70s and 73. And so then, and started to grow the business from there. His 2 sons came back. So John and Maureen had 4 boys. 2 of them came back to work in the business in the early 80s. And the way we tell the story is that, John and Maureen were John was a gardener and an immigrant.
Mhm.
Maureen, by the way, she's the reason we have a business.
Mhm.
She was the person in like the closet doing the books
Yeah.
Right.
until she was like 89.
Right.
Love it.
Wow.
Love her.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But John was a gardener and an immigrant, and his sons really carried forward like the immigrant legacy, like professionalizing and legitimizing the business. But it was clear when my generation grew up in the business, to call it a business it kind of feels a little strange.
Mhm.
Like it's like the people who make up our place, the people who made it possible. The thousands of people, not last name Mulhall, right, work there because they care about what the plants are,
Right.
and they want other people to care more. And so those, like, growing up in it, it was I think my interest in what the plants were that made it fit.
Mhm.
And it's kind of incidentally a business, and it's incidentally a family business, but really it's about that problem that made this guy in Ireland kind of decide to leave the family farm and
Mhm.
do this whole thing. And so I think today that's really what it is. It's like a group of people who share that passion. And then we try to kind of back into, like, apparently you need accounting.
Yeah. It's like
Somebody knows how
stewardship.
to do it.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
say so.
Yeah.
And it's also like, it's such an opportunity. Like, stewardship can be like taking care of something because you know that it matters, but not necessarily because like you find it to be so fun.
Mhm.
You
Right.
find it to be so interesting, but it's kind of
Yeah.
protecting this thing that adds so much to our lives. And the only way that you can protect it is by kind of sharing with other people and other people being excited about it.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I love it.
I didn't realize that the history went back that far. So I grew up in Omaha, and so I have memories of going there as a kid, like my parents going to get the plants, the oh my God, what are the ones? Oh my God, I can picture them in my head, and I cannot think of what they're
It'd be
named.
fun if you said mint or air plants.
It's mint and air plants. I'm having flashbacks.
Yeah.
I remember my parents would go and just pick up all the flowers that we were going to, plant that season there. And the layout of Mulhall's is so cool. I mean, you guys have
Yes.
so much out there. And I will say, I took my kid this past winter to see the reindeer. Amy, did you know they
Love
had a
that.
live reindeer?
I think I did know that.
Did you know Nora still talks about it almost every day?
Yeah, I love
And she's like, we drive by and she's like, there. And I'm like, he's not there right now.
The reindeer,
So sorry.
The reindeer are so funny. We
Oh my God.
always have gotten the same two. Brief aside, 2 beautiful reindeer, right? But then one of the reindeer we wasn't able to make the trip, and
You had a
so
meeting.
we got a trainee reindeer. We'll call it.
Oh no.
Amateur
Reindeer
hour.
in
Yeah.
The
training.
temp
And
agency
so it's like
sent in.
literally, so it's like Dasher and Dancer we get every year,
And then you've had
families would use-
Jason.
Carl.
No, yeah.
Oh my God.
Carl was an adolescent reindeer in rut. So
Oh, Carl.
these brutally tired parents are walking in, and the
Oh.
kids, and Carl just like was super adolescent and super in rut, and his water dish, and it was like right there in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And so we were managing that, and then I think the low point with Carl was he got his antler stuck in the
Oh.
whole
Oh,
family, and he gets his
Carl.
antler stuck, and he rips it out of his head, and there's like all these children, and yeah. So you think that Christmas is just, that Christmas business is for real?
It's not for the faint of heart.
Mm-mm.
You got to be managing adolescent reindeer.
Wow.
Apparently,
Carl didn't come back. I'm upset about it. I miss Carl,
Do you?
He
but
just
my
probably adds-
colleagues don't. Yeah.
probably just added an element of surprise to every day.
I'm
What the
super-
hell can Carl get into? So wait, Carl was not there this year.
No, Carl has never come back.
Okay.
Dang.
I was going to say, I'm
But
like,
it was
whatever day I
always
went,
funny.
Carl was behaving himself because I didn't notice
No,
anything
you would know
crazy.
Carl. He was half.
You would
he
know
was,
Carl
he was,
was
a
there.
third. He was a third the size. He had these stubby little antlers. No, it made no sense. But like contractually, they technically sent us Santa,
Right.
for all the children listening, technically sent us 2 reindeer.
Listeners, Mick is making air quotes
Exactly.
around
love
2
it.
reindeer.
Yeah, it was always fun to introduce it as, so this is Dasher and that's Carl.
Who's
kinda-
Carl? I don't want to talk about it.
I feel like this is the making of a picture book.
Like we did just have a place for Scamper
I
and be like, Carl,
know.
go home. You're
It's
not
like
needed today.
it's like Rudolph, but it doesn't end well. Santa doesn't pick him.
I love it.
It just it's an ode to the idea of the whole idea of like the a child that is not embraced by the village will burn it down to fill its warmth.
Yes.
That's Carl.
Oh, that would be such a good revenge story.
I
Listeners, do not steal this idea. We're writing it.
Yes.
It's too late.
It's already out
Copyrighted.
there.
Trademark.
Oh my God, I love it. Yeah. Well, Mick, I want to
amazing.
know how you got involved with the project and what made you excited about it and what continues to make you excited about it, because things are growing right now.
Yeah.
And also, I can't remember if we've actually said it specifically on the episode yet. Mulhall's is our partner for all of our
city garden.
The city garden outside. So if you come see these beautiful green spaces that we have outside, Mulhall's is our partner. And thank God, because again, guys, killed an air plant. So tell us.
Or Maggie might try to like grow a lot of men out there.
Her boss is listening. I promise I won't do that. If you find mint later, it was not me.
Rolling around in a mint.
If you smell mojitos, it's not mojitos.
Yeah, and I remember the previous question, which was about his gardening having a moment. And so I think those two things are related. So how do we get to be involved? A big part of our business is, kind of leaning into this growing gardening community, and through that we connected with some people who connected us with the project, and it was one of those opportunities where when I talk to the people who I work with who like really know about this stuff, I'm more of a generalist. They were thrilled, right? Because to the point of gardening having a moment, there's a group of people that have always kind of like deeply cared about this, but there's a growing group of people that it feels like that want to feel what it feels like to deeply care about something.
Right.
We meet a lot of those people, right? And I think of, and it's fun to talk with book people,
right?
Because I think
it's
a lot.
Adjacent.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, that very much that same spirit.
But I remember a book that I really like called God is Red, and in it, he talks about this idea of like this huge need, and God is Red is about the American Indian movement. And he talks about this like weird moment where people were digging up a lot of Native American graves.
Right.
And he kind of ascribes it to this like deep want for authenticity and meaning in their lives. Like, people living here with no connection to the place. Like most people here are from somewhere else. They're trying to kind of like find this meaning.
Sure.
And so for us, like you have that, like nature is that deep and it's that textured, like the plant world, like the native plant world is that deep and that textured. It is that meaningful. It's that place specific. It's something you can feel that connected to. And so I think what we found is that same kind of want for authenticity, like still exists. And people have tried, I think, a lot of different things to try to find that and feel that. When you happen on this world, the world of plants, particularly the world of plants that like live here naturally, it's pretty sticky because there's just so much there.
Right.
I've been doing this my whole life, and I don't know most of it, right? And so I think it was that desire and that kind of sentiment that has made us lean into our local gardening community to want to grow that. I think that growing led to us meeting some people that brought us to this project. I think what makes it so exciting to us is that this is like a real testament, like from our city, to why this matters,
Right.
And like this kind of what could have been this fleeting interest, this moment that people are having with gardening is now becoming much more physical as gardens like this are being planted in super important places in our city, and the care is being taken that the library team took to make sure that people have access to it, to understand what it is.
Right. And there's so much more that we can do. Like we have the beautiful plants in the gardens out there, but we also have the amazing programming that we can do around it. And I think that is really exciting for us.
Especially because we have our common soil seed library.
Exactly.
It's such a huge part of what we do.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure. And it is very aligned with our mission. And I wouldn't be surprised. I want to make just a little side and nugget of information, because I know that you love nuggets of information.
We all love nuggets.
Our highest circulating nonfiction is cooking cookbooks, but I wouldn't be surprised if gardening wouldn't be like second or third. Folks,
there's a field trip outside, and we're all going to wave to them.
Hi,
everybody!
So fun.
Obsessed.
I love it. They're like, I'm going to be a podcaster one day.
I'm sure. I'm sure these children are thinking that.
They are. my God, they're so cute.
Amazing. This is so cool. When I walked into the library today, I walked in with like 3 or 4 field trips.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And there's something so life-giving about remembering the field trip. You know?
I know. It really is. I always loved field trips as a kid.
Oh,
Same.
yeah.
It was the best.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Not to get too off topic, do you have a favorite field trip you took as a kid? Anything that comes to mind?
I think God, I grew up in West Virginia. I don't know if you knew that or not, but we probably the capital, because our capital is pretty unique. Yeah. So that was probably a really fun one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how about you? Do you have any?
Nebraska City. I'm from Omaha.
Yeah.
Or Fontenelle Forest. I mean, like 50-50.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mine,
both of those.
Mine weirdly also might be the capital, because if you grew up in Omaha, did you have to take the 4th grade field trip to Lincoln? Did you guys do that?
I don't know if I did that.
I know they do it, like, at least like back when I was growing up, it was like they tried it. It's like, if you have the feasibility to do so. So it was like just a lot of 4th graders specifically in 4th grade will go down to the capital.
like the good kid, like the promising kids. I wasn't invited to
I
that
had
one.
undiagnosed ADHD at the time, and I would not have fallen into that category.
Very diagnosed.
I was hard. I was a girl in the 90s, and they were just like, doesn't look like that. Turns out it looks exactly like that. It's just we're talking about it. But we went down, and and the things that I remember most specifically about going on that field trip, we went to, I always call it Mammal Hall, and it's not Mammal Hall, but it's where the woolly mammoth is. And I think that's why I want to call it Mammal Hall.
Yeah.
It's that one.
Makes sense.
Which is a cool science museum. I remember going there, and I remember whoever was our tour guide at that museum totally was into my vibe in a professional way and let me basically answer all her questions, because even though undiagnosed ADHD, very interested in Native American history and things like that. So I could answer all of her questions. And that gave me such an ego boost. The second thing I remember is getting rock candy in the gift shop.
Rock candy.
On the thing. The last thing I remember is the Valentino's buffet, RIP. I think there's exactly one Valentino's buffet
You've
left in the
talked
state of
about this
Nebraska. I
before.
almost made you go.
It's
I almost
true.
made you
Where?
go.
Where is it?
It's in Lincoln. I used to have
was
Valentino's
in Lincoln.
buffets all over. It is actually, I think, the same Valentino's I went to as a kid. There used to be Valentino's buffets everywhere.
That's true.
Don't let them forget. Don't forget what they took from us. Who's they? We'll find out.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what people can expect out of our city gardens. What was your approach? What's growing?
Yeah, sure.
What's growing in our gardens?
I think it's important to say, so the HDR, Jen Cross and her team did an awesome job really designing the garden. And we came in as a partner to help make sure that the plants were, place specific and things that we knew we could maintain well over time. And so, there's a lot of different things. I think HDR did a really nice job prioritizing making sure that it was beautiful, and I think that's a helpful, and I think it's really helpful. People are more interested in that which they're attracted to. And I think that, you can make a statement for sure with purely native plants. That's not what it is. It's more of a combination of things that one will really kind of sit nicely next to the architecture of the building, but then two, kind of an entree to the native plant world. So there's a lot of different things, in trees. There's some serviceberry that are beautiful and they're delicious. And I think, there's another field trip outside here, but
More waves.
The idea that you can show a kid a berry that they've never heard of and you can eat it and it's good.
Right.
And which further deepens that connection of like, plants have fruit, that, and the plant probably preceded the fruit, as opposed to like, I eat blueberries, so somebody invented a plant to create them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But when you try a plant that has fruit you've never heard before, it's a different kind of connection.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit of interesting perennials that are hosts for specific bugs, for butterflies. There's you have a type of penstemon out front that I could show you that bumblebees sleep in the flowers of.
Oh,
I mean,
stop it.
Yeah, and it's if I work
I'm
with.
gonna cry thinking about
I
that.
know.
Little fat bumblebee taking a nap.
I work with somebody named Hannah Kalpa, and Hannah is our head grower, and she grew all these plants. I mean, if you really want to know about these perennials, she knows more than anybody that I know about them and like what they do. Yeah, so a lot of different things.
I love it. So I remember a trip. We often my mom lives in North Carolina, and we drive to North Carolina and stop in St. Louis, and the St. Louis Botanical Gardens, an amazing,
Beautiful.
so
I've been there.
amazing.
Yeah.
There's this one part I didn't know these like little tiny field mice like love these flowers and are just. I feel like I'm literally just stepped into a children's
You're
book.
like a
and I'm
Disney
this is
princess.
not
There's just
real.
little mice taking naps around.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Do you have that at Mulhall's?
Mice, yes, a lot.
I was gonna say I don't think there's a way to keep them out.
Yeah.
But the cute ones.
Yeah, I mean,
They're Disney mice.
there's
Trademark,
also there's a guy
trademark.
for people who are local. There's a guy who works at the Nature Conservancy of Nebraska. His name is Chris Helser, and he spends a lot of time photographing
Yes.
like insects and things, with flowers. And it's cool. Like this idea again. I'm thinking a lot about these field trips, but this idea that there's this whole other world happening
Right.
that that it's almost like our life today is designed to not notice, or more than that. Frankly, it's designed to like eliminate it.
Right.
As opposed to like recognizing how interesting it is and can be.
And connect with it and actually be part of it. It's really amazing thing that we can do as humans is connect to the earth and understand how things are growing and everything around us.
And not being connected to it's 100% learned.
Yes.
Like you could take these kids outside and show them the bugs and like, have you seen like We Are Not Inherently Afraid of Snakes as a species?
No.
Yeah, if you put babies in a room with snakes,
Okay, I have. Yeah.
you're not afraid of them.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a learned behavior.
It's 100%
Yeah.
learned.
Yeah.
And so you can see that when you bring kids out into nature, like you can tell it's unfortunately oftentimes gendered, which doesn't make any sense. But like certain kids will be afraid of bugs.
Yeah.
And it is very the hand goes on the chest. They take a step back. They do this very
Right.
specific, like,
Yeah.
It's just, and there's no reason. And it just makes, to me, like life less interesting to have this whole world that you have to keep kind
Just
of
cut
away.
off.
Yeah.
And that just reminded me. So, where I did grow up in West Virginia, one of the things that the principal did so often that it became a really big part of my childhood, there was woods and mountains all around us. So he'd take us out on the path through the woods and be like, okay, this is this plant. This is what this does. So I was always like in creeks, in the woods, just walking around all the time. That was like my playground.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
100%.
As a nature
and
playground.
here, like the creek is probably the equivalent of the wood and same. And it's funny
Yeah.
how like how hard it can feel to entertain children
Yeah.
until you find a creek.
Right.
Yep.
It's fascinating.
It is.
Yeah.
It's nature's cool.
Yeah.
You said you have a 2-year-old.
I do. Yeah.
Do you constantly find acorns and rocks in their pockets?
Or in his stomach. Yeah. In his
Tight,
shoe.
tight,
Yeah. Oh, for
tight.
sure.
That's fine. I go to change the laundry out. And I'm like, oh my God. Like my washer looks like it's been infested by raccoons. Like there's just
100%.
rocks and acorns like
Yeah,
that I have not found.
And because pockets are like when you first learn what pockets are, it's like this incredible.
It's over.
Yeah.
The start of the collection of whatever that might be.
I used to collect cicada shells as a kid. I was obsessed with finding
So
cicada
does my
shells on like the
neighbor's
fences.
kids.
And I would save them in like little baby
Yeah.
food jars and I'd like pull them out and like look at them.
Yeah. I
It's
love
my
it.
favorite. Love finding a crunchy cicada shell.
Love it.
Good times. I'm going to go do that after this.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I have one more question for you before we get to books. So I would love to know, since I find this question, what is something new, surprising, or fascinating you've learned recently in the world of horticulture, or simply something that you're vibing on? I really love like thinking about that. Like, we vibe on birds. We've talked about
for sure.
crows.
Going birding
Yeah.
tomorrow. Tell the people they should go birding more. It adds a lot.
Absolutely.
I mean, I have binoculars and I actually just go out in the backyard and look at birds.
that's
And
cool.
I'm behind on my Oriole, putting up my Oriole feeder.
They just got here. You're not that late this year.
Okay, good.
Just got here the last
But
week.
those robins, man, they're after my oranges and grape jelly. And I'm like, get away.
Yeah. Robins are cool. We can be
I
cool.
know,
We're
I
cool
love
with
robins.
robins.
We are.
They're not
I actually love them.
starlings.
I think it's true. So what's your favorite bird?
Oh, that's a good question. A northern flicker.
Oh,
Yeah.
I get this in my backyard.
Yeah, they're great. I think
Yeah.
they're beautiful.
They're awesome
Yeah.
and big.
Yeah, they're.
Yeah.
I think they're super cool.
I'm always like, whoa, what is that big bird on my tree?
Mhm.
And that's a good one.
How about you?
Flicker.
I mean, I love a lot of them. I mean, we put hummingbird feeders and
Oh,
we
that's incredible.
get so many in our backyard, which is great. So they have found us because sometimes they don't find you.
Same with
Mhm.
Orioles.
Yeah, Orioles are tough. I love goldfinches.
Oh yeah, it's good.
And it's a rare one for us to get them in our backyard. So I'm trying to grow more zinnias because I know that they love zinnias. So I keep trying. That's one of the things I'm excited about seeing once everything is super established here is like, what are the birds and the butterflies that are going to come through?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be super cool to see.
Yeah.
Once those pollinators start finding us. And
I know. I'll keep you posted.
Oh yeah.
But anything you're vibing on?
Oh yeah. I think one of the more maybe surprising realities about plants is that the prairie is a much bigger carbon store than most people realize.
Yeah.
Prairies store, 75% of their biomass underground, which makes them like super resilient. And, if you think about a forest, which stores more than that above ground, plants, right, fix carbon. They do that through photosynthesis. They grow. They put the carbon in trees up in the air, right in the tree, and in prairies down in these roots. But the idea, right, that the prairie is that important a part of carbon capture, and that 75 to 80% of their, let's say 75% of their biomass is underground, like that's only what's alive. So they're actually pushing roots down. Roots are dying. They're growing new roots. Like all of that's being stored under there. So even in the case of fire, we've had a lot more of.
Right.
A lot of that is still stored underground, which I think is really interesting to think about, like the inherent resiliency of the prairie relative to forests.
And as you say that, it goes back to the collective effervescence part of my brain goes like, and I think that speaks to also like people, that you can have something horrible happen, but your roots are like what's actually inside of you is still there, and you can do something else.
For sure.
You can regrow.
So
we're like plants.
That reminded me of a book that's on my TBRs, which is called Sea of Grass. Do you know about that?
Oh yes. Oh yeah. This
The Conquest, Run, and Redemption of Nature on the American Prairie by Dave Hague, Hage, or however, I'm not sure how to pronounce that.
Tell me the title again.
Sea of Grass.
Sea of Grass.
Yeah, and I heard about it from the Bookworm when the Random House Penguin reps were out there talking about some of their favorite reads that were coming out in 2025.
Well, and Shelby at the Papillion Library, who's come on, I think that was her favorite nonfiction last year.
It was.
Yeah.
So
cool.
I know it. Yeah, I love that. And you grow native grasses from seed.
Yeah.
Which that's incredible.
Yeah. They're meant to grow here.
Yeah.
I
mean, I know that happens.
It's easier to grow things that,
We're moving into an era where people are doing that more, and it is kind of exciting to see that it's of not trying to force uniform green grass to grow in your yards or in other spaces, and to like just lean into like what is supposed to be here, what thrives in the soil.
Yeah.
And just do that. And it's beautiful.
But it is an interesting, that's a super interesting conversation. What is meant to grow here, right? Because like nature is pretty dynamic, and things do change, and climate changes. And, like there's this myth of this like primitive prairie, right? Like this idea that we should all be working to get back to this, what land looked like before human settlement. But like, that's not a thing.
Right. Also, we just changed zones, right? Like
I did hear about that. Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, like two things. One, this land has been like farmed for thousands of years, right? And humans have coexisted with the landscape. So that's cool. And I think that's important to think about when you think about native plants. But two, to the zone change. I mean, like ginkgos, right? Ginkgo biloba, famously from China, from the mountains of China, like did grow here.
Right.
100 million years ago, but like here physically, right? And so like, what is native? What does grow here? How do plants fit into the food web, right? Like is a very dynamic, I think, conversation, which makes it more interesting.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
There's a guy on my TikTok feed right now who's growing a clover yard, and he's being very intentional about it.
Did that.
It looks beautiful so far. I'm loving it. I kind of want to do it for me.
We did that in a house that I bought when I first moved here. Because now I live in a different house now, but we very much try to get away from grass and try to grow natives and try to do whatever we're growing. It's not going to take a lot of maintenance. And I will be really upfront. Like, I love a garden. I don't like to I have to be given, talk about an ADHD thing for me. I'm like, I tell my husband, like, you have to give me a very specific task to do because I don't know what I'm doing in here. So like I can pull weeds but give me like only in this area you rope it off. You just work in this little area and I'll do well. But other than that, I love to be in a garden.
Yeah.
I just have a hard time actually digging.
I admire the people who do it. I aspire to be when I'm not actively trying to keep a 3-year-old with a death wish alive, to like put some more of my emotional energy into that. Because it is cool to grow your own things. And I also agree it's really important, I think for kids even just to see that. The idea that it's like you can grow something, but I think it's also the idea of the work that goes into it and the value of like you might be spending a lot of time on something and it might not look like a lot is happening. But then all of a sudden, like there's literally fruit of your labor. Like that you can spend a lot of time on something and something happens at the end, which is kind of cool. And just also then the idea of like cause and effect that you care for something and it grows, or you care for something and it's not working. What can we change? What needs to happen? Let's learn. Let's do research.
Right. So in the house that I bought, we put a ton of mulch over the entire corner lot, which was huge. 2 huge truck beds of mulch, and then put clover on top of it to like get the soil back in shape, and then start growing natives, which we did.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, it was a lot of work.
Oh yeah, but it's fun.
Yeah.
It's meaningful work.
Yeah, it is meaningful.
Yeah.
And now we're in like a tiny little yard and I love it. I love my yard. And I have a ton of red buds, which is my favorite tree, that were all volunteers from a red bud from the front yard, just all start coming up. I was like, come on, grow.
Red buds are beautiful.
Yeah.
State tree of Oklahoma, I think.
Is it really?
Look at that. Fun fact. Right off the top of the dome.
We know. Oh gosh, we should have given him a quiz.
I even thought of that this morning. I was changing the laundry. Amy, I'm not kidding. I was changing the laundry over this morning before I came to work. I went, I should come up with a quiz. But then I was like, killed an airplane. What could I possibly be quizzing about?
No,
but I could have made
the quiz, the one that we did a couple years ago about the Nebraska, like State Bird did this, that, was true or false, remember?
Oh yeah, we did do that. I think we both do it, or did you make me take it?
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
Okay, we'll quiz you later.
I'm ready, yeah. I'm excited.
Goldenrod is our state flower.
State flower.
And our bird is the
meadowlark.
Meadowlark, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Those are cool.
Yeah, very much.
I think the state tree of Virginia is the dogwood.
Yes, I love a dogwood. We have those in the front yard.
The only reason I know that is
the library.
The movie, the American President, Alan Sorkin. Oh. There's a whole plot point where he tries to send her a tree. Anyway, neither here nor there. I love Alan Sorkin.
Okay, books.
Yeah.
You got some books for us?
Let's talk reading.
I have a few.
Yeah, like favorite books?
Yeah. Tell us, what is on your shelf?
I'm gonna write them down. Don't be afraid.
I know.
Like to read or like garden adjacent super hits.
I mean, anything.
Honestly,
we just like our guests. Just tell us what you're feeling.
I think that the world would be a better place if more people read A Sand County Almanac by Aldo Leopold.
Okay.
I think it's an important. I think it's like a beautiful book about kind of like modern conservation.
Yes.
And naturalism.
Mm-hmm.
I think Nebraska would be a better place if more people read Local Wonders.
Oh, good one.
Yeah. So I think those books are very related.
Yes.
I'm rereading Candide right now.
Oh, interesting. What prompted that?
I read it every few years. It's in the back of our. We hand out a pamphlet, like for our employees. It's called our ecosystem, and it kind of explains the business and whatever.
It's like a zine.
Yeah, well, but it's only we publish it. It's like a handbook,
right?
But for like culture,
right?
And the front cover has an Aldo Leopold quote, and then the back cover is the end of Candide. And every once in a while, I realize I've forgotten most of the plot of that book,
right?
But like I'm saying that, or I'm kind of suggesting to read it. I don't think anyone's read it because I think it's a really funny thing to include at the end of our culture manifesto. Mm-hmm. You guys know the last.
No, tell
me. It's something like, so we must cultivate our garden. Like the whole thing ends with so we must cultivate our garden. Yeah. So that's at the end of our ecosystem, but it's a very satirical book.
Yeah.
So I feel like if anyone reads it, they'll know that it's satire.
Yeah.
And then they'll maybe talk to you about it, but it's never happened.
Okay.
Yeah. So I like Candide a lot. I think it's really funny. I think it's a great book for right now too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's.
Well,
Okay.
And I like books like that because we've talked about this, that there's a lot of books that either you got hit with in your curriculum or like, in college or whatever. And maybe you read it, but you just did it to get like, the whole idea of like, I'm just here to not get fined. Like you just read this book.
Through the
but
words,
you did,
right?
yes. Yeah. You did not actually absorb it, or you somehow got through school without having to read it. I feel like Candide is maybe one of those.
Oh, Candide's wonderful.
So I think I love conversations like this, though, because it helps people of just like, there's this, 1,000 long list of books that everybody should read, or like the classics.
Yeah, but I think you have to be over like 30.
You gotta come
life
out
has
with
to
fresh
kind of punch you in
eyes.
the face a couple times for Candide to be really funny.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
But then it's very funny.
There you go. See? Yeah.
And I'd say, I think not a book. Well, it's published in a book, but I think Speaking Tree is a beautiful poem. And so if you're not talk about Oklahoma, Joy Harjo is pretty incredible.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
And so it's, what is the book called that's published in? Something for sentient beings.
Okay.
Yeah.
That book, inside that is a beautiful poem called Speaking Tree that I really like.
I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I like, a big part of my career has been like, there's this thing that attracts you to the world that I work in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's hard to articulate. And so a lot of my journey has been trying to find people who articulate it better, and then kind of like thinking about those words.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That reminds me, and I can't remember what I saw on it, but just of talking about that's the importance of writers or people that like create, is that they're able to kind of take these experiences or maybe thoughts that people have, but don't really know how. Maybe they don't have the vocabulary or the words 100%. To be able to articulate it, and this is how we can like express it and move through those moments.
Yeah. I'm reminded. I'm going to send you some more links of stuff I think you're going to really love.
It.
Yeah.
I'd add to my list Emerson. I think nature is beautiful, particularly the introduction, I think is incredible.
Yeah.
I like most of Ted Koozer's poetry. I think Braided Creek is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have a 3-line poetry pen pal or whatever that. Yeah. That was incredible. I think that we also read The Wasteland too early.
Yeah.
I've never even heard.
The T.S. Eliot. I think you mentioned St. Louis. Okay. I think I think it's like really germane to right now. Mm-hmm. I think that's a beautiful. Talks about April. I guess it's May now.
I know.
That's
true fact. Spring is my least favorite season.
Really?
April is the cruelest month.
It's so windy and it's all over the place. Like I need consistent sort of like
it's fake.
Really
it's
hot.
Beautiful, but I'm freezing. It's like it looks like I should be able to go outside.
May is
and
being
be comfortable.
Rude.
Yeah.
It's being a little loosey goosey. It's being a little all over the place. It is supposed to warm up.
I do. Looks like. Summer all the way.
Yeah. No, I like summer.
I'm spring.
Yeah.
100%.
You're spring.
I tried so.
Yeah. No, it's the wind.
But then in fall, I'll say fall.
Okay.
No, I think that's it. Summer is my favorite season until I get to fall and I go, oh, wait, no, this is my favorite season.
Yeah, I would never say summer and I would never say winter, but every spring and every fall, I'm like, you know what? I've changed my mind.
Yes. I mean, like, this is wonderful.
It is spring.
Yeah.
Spring is my favorite. And then fall, I would say the exact same thing with the same conviction. It's been happening for 15 years.
But then winter rolls around and 100% of the time I'm like, what am I doing here? Why do I still live in Nebraska?
And then it's beautiful.
No, but it's important.
I could deal without it. I can go find snow.
I have lived somewhere without winter briefly, and it was very disorienting for me.
Okay.
Same. Louisiana.
So I lived in California, and it's beautiful there.
Yeah.
But like there's this beautiful here, like you have to think about what you're doing. It's so much harder to build like really long-term habits, particularly negative habits here, because like there's this seasonal reminder that like time is passing.
Yeah.
So have you read Wintering by Catherine May?
Oh, so good.
We've talked about it on the podcast before.
Did you
read it first or did someone else give that to us? You read Wintering?
I have. I think you
got me to read it because then I finally read it this winter because I've always hated winter. I want to flash through it. I don't like it at all. And it really made me take a step back and see
time of rest.
It's the time of rest. And so,
renewal.
and the author
Cool.
also does not like winter. And she spent the winter very intentionally trying to be like, this is a time of rest and renewal.
Right.
And what are the things that she can do to try to lean into winter more? The idea of like the season, but then also it's like for ourselves of this idea that it's like we all need this internally, and to honor that moment that it is much like my favorite book, The Giver by Lois Lowry, that it's like you cannot have one without the
Strong
other.
favorite book.
It's so good. That's the one I go back and reread. It's like it was a different book when it was a book when I was 12.
I haven't read it since I was grade
Okay,
school.
we talk about if you're crying, it's going to be,
I'll check that
oh
out.
my God, get ready for an
Yeah, I'm
experience.
in.
And you know, it's
Mrs.
a quartet.
Nish, what's up? I'm gonna read
This
it again.
is okay. So you know, it's a quartet. She wrote 4
No.
books in total. The other ones,
To
they're,
be completely
they're
honest,
still
I
good.
forgot Lois Lowry. Like I haven't
She's
thought
still
about
alive.
that.
Did you know that?
No.
Isn't that
Lois?
great. She's like 100.
I know.
She's amazing. The idea in The Giver of like, you cannot have one without the other. It's like the idea that you know, going sledding, but then the sting of the snow when like you fall off the sled
Yeah.
of the snow.
See, I
love
get
of-
that Moby Dick does. Moby Dick, I think, articulate. So Moby
Yeah.
Dick's probably my number one, and he talks about that.
Wow.
Like no play. If you remember in the inn
Mhm.
when he's sleeping in the same room, I think is Queequeg, and it's and the room's cold,
Mhm.
and Melville just goes on this like 2-page thing about why having a fireplace in your room is one of the luxurious discomforts of the rich, because if the room isn't cold, then you can't experience warmth. It's- And there I lied, like, what do you say? And there I lied like one warm spark in the heart of an Arctic, like, crystal or something.
I've
And
got
she was
goosebumps. I'm not kidding.
and she's
Like, this is the stuff I'm
Wow.
into.
this is a good test if I'm going to be friends with somebody, is if
Uh-huh.
if they think Melville's tangents are interesting or not.
Right.
I've had friends that are like, I don't get that book. He could have
You're
done
reading it
that.
too
He could
literally.
have done that in 50 pages.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
It's like,
nah.
yeah, he could, but that's
Yeah.
What a boring life.
It's the experience around it. It's that
Yeah.
whole the one that gets it's the in The Giver, the idea that it's like you can go down the sled and it's so fun, but then you hit the one that you hit the snow and it'll sting on your cheeks. The spending the day at the beach, but then the sunburn afterwards. The one that gets me and that will always make me tear up. It's the love of grandparents, but you have to lose them.
Yeah.
And like
Oh.
it's this, and so it's the wintering.
100%.
Really, I mean, I just said I hate winter and I would skip it, but it did.
Yeah.
The bar was in hell, and now it is not. It is out of hell.
I think that's
it's
completely
like
right.
it
That's
changed
my
my perspective on
experience for
wintering.
sure.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
that's completely right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
we've
but
got so many good books.
Talking about books is
No.
pretty fun.
Yeah,
It's so much fun.
You didn't see your favorite book.
yeah.
Oh.
Say a book.
I-
Say a book, Amy. Now.
Oh my gosh, my favorite. Oh, I mean, it would be 100 Years of Solitude.
Oh,
Strong.
good.
And I've read that about 4 or 5 times. The first
Yeah.
time, and I will say the first time I read it, I didn't get it. Because I think you have to,
It's a genre all of its own. That
Yeah.
book is. It famously
It's-
for a long time was considered unfilmable.
it's like
they did not make a movie
neuroplasticity.
of
Like
it.
your brain has to like
Yep.
drop in.
Yeah.
And so I read through it. And then I was like, well, okay, I didn't get that. So I had my mind rest a
Mhm.
little bit. And then I reread it and I loved it and have reread it ever since. I had some nonfiction favorites though. There's one really weird one that I might send you.
Okay.
That's we don't have it in our collection. And it is Holographic Universe.
Mm.
I don't know about this.
Have you
But I'm
talked
into
about
weird.
this before?
So
I'm
it's,
trying to feel something.
I mean, it's
We
just-
all are.
It's about this physicist who really sort of goes down this rabbit hole of theories of holograms. And he actually dies when he's 30. He writes this book and he dies. Maybe of a heart attack. Don't know. But it's so
nonfiction?
Nonfiction.
Huh.
And it is I actually
I'm
have
reading a
copy.
nonfiction book about math right now. Of
Yeah.
all things. It's been
Yeah, I mean
recommended
it is.
strongly.
I
It's
am
amazing.
not math at all,
Wow.
but actually I do love the concept of physics.
Yeah.
But I would never
But physics would be a weird thing to hate, right? Insofar
Right.
as it's like how
like quantum physics.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
You're like,
exactly.
how can you hate it?
But
I
he's-
hate biology.
Well, it's like I passively hate photosynthesis.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it doesn't work like
To
that.
be completely honest,
So
I feel
he-
the same way about math, but on
Yeah.
a different podcast. I'm
Yeah.
at a library.
Mhm. I
Right.
feel you.
But it's such an interesting book that, and I read it when I was in my 20s, and
Uh-huh.
I reread it again because sometimes you reread these books and you're
Yeah.
like, well, that was a time,
Yeah.
you know,
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Uh huh.
because you're like,
I was never the right age for The Catcher in the Rye.
I hated that book.
I've never got
Hated
it.
it.
Did you reread it in
Hated it.
adulthood?
I have.
Okay,
But I read Perks of Being a Wallflower, which is like the same book, but just like more to a kid, like
More,
a 90s kid. And then
yeah.
and then I understood what he was trying to do with The Catcher in the Rye.
Right.
But some of the idioms and stuff, some of like the slang was just kind of weird. And I don't call money dough. This is weird.
It's a little West Side Story.
Yeah,
for sure.
But Biggie Smalls calls it dough.
That's
He
true.
does.
He does.
But I am
bake
no
biscuits.
Biggie Smalls. I don't.
That's true.
I reread The Catcher in the Rye for the podcast because we did a whole. Was it books we escaped without reading? We did an episode. I remember just having to reread
classics.
it. Yeah, and I still felt the same way. It's like I didn't necessarily say that it's like I love this book now, but the character of Holden Caulfield, I detested the first time around.
Yeah.
I hated, and this time around, after growing up and then now working for the library and working with a lot of kids in really precarious situations, a lot of emotional vulnerability and all these things. I see him for like, gosh, I am still so annoyed by you, but you are traumatized. Like, and I'm willing to just put through it. Yes.
Yeah, I like that one for the same reason.
But I understand what you mean. It's there's a lot of parallels. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you're the giver.
Uh-huh.
What was your number one?
100.
100 Years of Solitude. That's a strong.
Yeah.
That's a strong.
They did finally make a film version.
I know.
Of it,
I still
think, on
haven't seen it.
Netflix or Amazon
it's
Prime.
Netflix.
I don't do the movie versions.
I just want to. I'm just giving it a try. I want to see what they did.
It's really great
because
but I feel like I need to be in a space to take it in. You know, like there's a lot. Yeah.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's the book itself is so impressive because for a long time it was considered unfilmable. Like you would not be able to make a movie version of this because it is so layered. There's it just so I wanted just to watch. I'm like, how did they do it? Like,
I think the book that hits, you said like when you go back to and it's just like what?
Right.
Anything Ayn Rand.
I have not read Ayn Rand.
Don't.
Okay.
Yeah. As an adult,
like that's
don't.
I'm so glad you said this.
You gotta be like 16
and
be like, I'm misunderstood.
Oh yeah. Yeah. 19 and read The Fountainhead and felt the same way. I was like, why does everybody no, and then
why doesn't everyone understand I'm the center of the universe?
I think of parts back then that I had written down in my journal and being like so moved by, and then I go back and look and be like, ew.
Yeah, you're right.
So lucky you're cute. Oh my God. Okay, honey.
100%.
Okay, you live in a society. Okay. Sorry.
Fountainhead is a rough reread. You don't get very
You're inspiring me. Sometimes I've said this on the podcast a lot. Sometimes I like to have a bad time to have a good time. Yeah. And that might be what my next bad time is. Diving back into it.
So The Fountainhead would actually be a really fun book club book with the right group as an ironic read.
Oh my God.
Oh, the ironic read book club.
That would be, and I mean, that's 300 pages.
I know. It would take.
It's a slog. It's a slog.
You would probably have to do it in parts.
But it's like, have you read Madame Bovary?
Yes.
So what attracts me to that book is how much I detest Monsieur Homais.
Uh-huh.
And like I can read it because it's just like the more you read it, the more they're like she's articulating. He's articulating this thing that you just like loathe.
Yeah.
I think that could get me through it.
Yeah.
Where it's just like
it could.
And then he built the house that no one thought was going to be perfect, but it was.
Yeah. He did it, suckers.
Yeah. And over the course of 350 pages. Maybe 4. And how long is that book?
It's long. It's long. I would say at least 350, if not more.
How about a book that you think more people should like? That a book you just can't quite convince people to read, but you think it's amazing.
That's a good one. I have to think about that.
I think, and I don't know if I don't think it's so much like having to convince them.
I'm trying to think of what's on my bookshelf right now.
So we talk about how an author will spend like 100 pages like describing a thing, like to get through the thing. That's kind of Emily St. John Mendel, and she is my absolute favorite working author right now. Her prose, how she writes, her syntax is amazing. So she wrote Station 11. Did you read Station 11? Okay. So it's crazy. So it came out in 2016 and it is about a global pandemic and that hits the earth and like wipes out a huge chunk of the population. It's a fascinating book because it's told 20 years in the past before this happens. Like you follow like this like one character. Then one of those characters in that 20 years in the past is in the present story. He is an actor. His death on stage, he's like performing in a play. And that's actually the opening line of basically that's like this actor has dropped dead on stage in front of like the people. And there's a guy who he's actually like a paparazzi photographer, but he had been an EMT in his past, and he gets on stage, he's trying to work on him, and he gets carted away. What that is showing is like, this is like almost like the starting moment of this pandemic that is happening. So you watch that EMT, he's kind of like the present day story. So you're watching him move through real time of it happening. And then the third story is a child actor who is on stage. It's her 20 years in the future. So you're watching this pandemic story play out. It is so beautiful. It is one of my, it's one of my favorite books. So she wrote, and I have to say, like, it's because it's not just this one book. It's Station 11, and then it's The Glass Hotel, which is in some ways a book about nothing, but it's also a book about everything. It's a book told from multiple points of view. There's so much. It's a book about nothing, but also so much happens that I almost can't like crystallize it. It's like at this, well, it's a glass hotel in Canada where a girl is working. Somebody defaces it with like paint, saying, "Why don't you eat broken glass?" And they can't figure out like who's like done this. You follow her as she like moves on into New York, but you're also following her brother. This sounds so complicated. It is one of the most moving books. I was listening to it on audiobook, pushing my kid around the park, and I was openly weeping, and people were checking on me. It was one of my all-time favorite books. Again, it's a book about nothing and everything at the same time. And then, addition to that, her latest book, Sea of Tranquility, which, spoiler alert, I damaged out the first borrow on one of our copies by getting chocolate on it. So I had to pay for that. So I own it now.
But way to own it. Way to tell them you got the chocolate.
Yeah. No, I'm like, oh no, I got a phone call that said, "Hey babe, there's some chocolate in the book you just turned in." I'm like, that sounds like me. I'll be downstairs. Her last book, Sea of Tranquility, is another more of like a sci-fi book about time travel, but it loops together the rest of these books. You don't think they're connected. And then you get to that Sea of Tranquility, and all of a sudden, and this is really, it goes back to that cultural effervescence. Everything is connected. We're all together. And reading all three of those books, such a collective experience I love it. And I have such a hard time convincing people. Like, read one, fine. Read all of them and have.
But you're saying start with Station 11.
You have to start with Station 11 because you need Station 11 to lead into The Glass Hotel and then Sea of Tranquility.
And Sea of Tranquility, you have short attention spans. That sounds like a good one, right? Where there sounds like there's a lot going on.
Station 11 will grab you. Station 11 was really good at that, and then leads into Glass Hotel and then Sea of Tranquility. 10 out of 10. That is what I have a hard time because it's it's not just a one book; it's a 3-book commitment. But you will have such an experience.
I think. Well, I thought of one book that I read a long time ago. I need to reread it to remember all of it. But I think the one that I feel like gets either people are like, "No, I hated it," Confederacy of Dunces.
Oh, you have talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I need to reread that. And I do think it rubs either people the wrong way or they are so into it.
Maybe that's a better idea for the book club instead of just being ironic. It could be more like the I don't know, what's a word for that? That kind of polarizing.
Yeah.
Polarizing. We just have a polarizing book club.
It's like a hot takes book club.
Yeah, that could be.
There we go.
Exactly.
Honestly, I think it would make a great internal book club if we wanted to start it.
I know.
Call it hate reading or something.
Yeah.
It'd be so funny.
Love to hate read.
Hate reads.
There's got to be like
that
would be a great list. Would be like the hate read classics.
Oh yeah,
you know,
about to yuck your yum
exactly
aggressively.
I know.
What was the holographic book you said? Because I'm keeping a list.
The Holographic Universe, and even though it is not in our collection,
that's okay. I'm gonna.
I mean, not out of print. You can get it, but I love it. I actually buy multiple copies and give them to people.
Do you have one at your house?
I do. Do you want to bring it?
Yeah, I do.
So I have multiples of my favorites.
Yeah,
because I like to give them to people what I write on my books.
Yeah.
So which I don't know if that's like illegal in library.
It is. You have to leave. Get out.
We actually will
give you attention unless I write.
Oh, we're gonna write you a ticket.
Dude, I don't know what happens down there, but I'm afraid of it.
You should. That robot, not a robot.
I got an infraction in Spain, by the way.
I remember you told me.
That's what
you were driving and you got a speeding ticket.
In I think it was in Cadiz. I don't know. They have secret radar places, and I got zapped.
So you were just in Spain. My book, I Can't Convince Anyone to Read, is actually a Spanish, a late Spanish author, A Heart So White.
Oh,
Javier Marias.
I haven't even heard of this. Okay.
Oh man.
All right.
Oh,
All right. We're gonna have like one hell of a
I don't know
list.
I don't know the name of the lady who translated it, but insofar as he wrote it in Spanish, and I think like what is so beautiful about it is the diction. Like she needs an award. Like it is so like because I read in English.
Yeah.
It is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I can convince no one. He wrote several books, and it's contemporary kind of like Spanish like history almost, right? Because they don't really talk about what happened after Franco. And it's about translation and the nature of language, and it's beautiful, I think.
I have one for you.
Okay.
How to Cook a Wolf by MFK
also,
Fisher.
Amy pronounces wolf, and it's one of my favorite things about her.
Woof. MFK Fisher was the OG food writer.
Okay.
I think she was one of the OG food writers, and her books are just packed of like amazing language, which makes you
a passionate argument for the necessity of pleasure. All right, MFK.
Tight.
I'm in.
Yeah, so she's written
Consider the Oyster.
Yeah, it's such a good book.
A different kettle of fish. Okay, yes.
It's so good. And in fact, I might come by and just drop off a bunch of books and say these are.
I'll read them.
Okay. Good.
Oh, I love the idea of like cookbooks, but novels.
Yeah.
Question mark.
This is she's an amazing writer, and she's inspired all the food writers that write today. Like she really is the OG.
I'm very like culinarily impressionable. Like I was talking about Moby Dick. I think I only ate clam and cod chowder for like 2 weeks after I read that book.
Nice.
Because I'm realizing like what I actually read now is Willie's Raiders and Richard Scarry.
Oh, of course.
And
just do you know? So we are so busy that a lot of us are like out on the floor restocking books because there's just we have to.
Amazing.
So I've been doing the kids' books, which is kind of I don't have kids, but like the picture books there were so many gardening ones that were amazing.
I would love and it adds or removes so much pleasure from a parent's life, the quality of the children's book.
Oh, they're phenomenal.
I would love.
Kids are so lucky these days because there are just thousands of them.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But it's funny, they like what they like. And it's like if this little boy, like I'm not a car guy.
Right.
My son just wants to hear more about fire trucks.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Just permanent fire trucks. Oh, yeah. Sometimes airplanes.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah. But that would be great.
It.
Like right now, the book that I grew up with is called Willie's Raiders, and we're reading that right now. He's finally old enough to kind of like get it. And it's Willie's Raiders. They're like raccoons, and they play the weasels, and the weasels are terrible, and but then they win in the end, and it's like adorable, and it's so great to like have a
right.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
I love Omaha Public Library.
Someone said books, and that's great.
I love that.
Yay! All right. So if you want to hear yourself on the podcast episode, it'll be next Friday. So if somebody you know listens to podcasts or you do, we're on basically every platform. It's called The Book Drop. And you can find our episode and you can hear yourself. I think it'll probably go at the very end. So thank you guys. This is so
love
fun.
it. Yeah.
See you guys.
Bye, everyone.
Every book, resource, or thing that we mentioned that we can link to on the internet can be found in list form in our episode description. So if you missed something we talked about, check out that list.
The Book Drop is produced by Omaha Public Library. Our theme music is Trapped in Amber, courtesy of the band Lucid Fugue. Don't forget to subscribe to The Book Drop on your favorite podcast app and like and follow Omaha Public Library on social media.